We begin this NFL season in a very similar fashion to how we began last year, with one of the best NFL rivalries, Bears-Packers. We, of course, remember the historic one-legged comeback by Aaron Rodgers in the second half on Sunday night, Week 1 last season. This year, the venues have changed. We're in Soldier Field this time. The Bears no longer a possible Cinderella. They are the overwhelming favorite to win the North. This line opened as Bears favored by 4. That line has moved a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah, bettors clearly like Green Bay here, moving it to 3.5 as we speak right now, minus 110, which means, that's kind of where the line is standing currently. Not a lot of steam there, and it's basically because Aaron Rodgers, the narrative a season ago is that he struggled under old coach Mike McCarthy. He gets a new coach this year. He is the better quarterback, and so anytime you get an historic Hall of Fame quarterback getting more than a field goal, I think people will gravitate towards that any day of the week.
So we see this line probably staying at 3.5, 3 being such a key number, 4 maybe being a lot for a team with not as proven a quarterback. I'm going to take the side of the Bears because that's just what I do. The Bears are certainly a team that overachieved last season, but let's not forget a couple of key points. The first is this. That Week 1 game, that happened in Lambeau Field. There was another game that was played later on that season in Soldier Field. The Bears scored 3 touchdowns in that game. The Packers scored 1. They really dominated that game, and they won it soundly. I expect that to be more emblematic of what we'll see in Week 1 than that Week 1 game in Lambeau. Secondarily, 2 Matts at coach, Nagy versus LaFleur. We know a lot more about Nagy. He generated an offense that was in the top 10 despite some below average quarterback play from Mitch Trubisky. He will scheme open throws in Week 1. I have no qualms about what Matt Nagy is going to do. Trubisky may be a question mark, may not like the Bears for the totality of this season, but in this game, with all the unknowns with the Packers, I'll take the Bears minus 3.5.
Yeah, the Bears were certainly impressive last year, but in many ways they were impressive in things that don't necessarily carry. Defense, for example, year to year isn't very sticky. They lose their defensive coordinator. Many think that the defensive coordinator is the most valuable player on the defense. They lose their slot corner. They were, victimized there in the postseason run that they had with Sherrick McManus there. They lose Adrian Amos, one of the league's best safeties. So that defense might regress a bit. Also, they lack a first-round pick this year. They lack a second-round pick. Their first pick was a running back in David Montgomery. Oftentimes, teams gravitate towards trying to use those players because of the high draft capital given. That means fewer balls in the hands of Tariq Cohen, which was one of the most valuable running backs a season ago. So I just think, when you're talking about the Packers having the better quarterback, getting more than a field goal, and the Bears sort of regressing in a lot of the areas in which they were strong a season ago, that tells me Packers.
It's interesting. The Bears, such a strong team, really outside of the quarterback, that our look-ahead number was closer to 4.5 than it was to 3.5. So the Bears, maybe some value here. Seems like the line is in a pretty efficient place, but you want to track it along with us. So head to PFF.com, get yourself a Greenline subscription, and follow along as we get closer to the 100th NFL season.